Hey guys, I'm Bowie, and today we're going to talk about the Ember versus Huskar matchup and the things that I picked up from watching CCNC play this matchup. So, well, the first thing we have to understand about Huskar is a lot of people actually fear him more than he is supposed to be feared, especially in the early stages. There are three weaknesses on Huskar in the laning stage. The first one are his levels. Up to level 3 and 4, at level 4 he's actually really strong, but up to level 3 he's really not as scary as a lot of people make him to be. And that fear is usually what allows Huskars to dominate the lane. And you know, Ember is not even a hero that's supposed to be strong versus Huskar in the first place. But in general, sometimes you see DP players that could dominate the Huskar being super afraid, sometimes Quops being really afraid, while Huskar is really weak early on. And the reason he's weak in the first levels is that, one, his armor is garbage, and two, his move speed is not great, his attack range is not great, his damage output takes a while to build up, and more important than all of that, his base damage is terrible. So his laning stage, especially level 1, mediocre at best. And the item build that CCNC goes for reflects all of that. You see, Blightstone is not an uncommon item on Ember, but the reason he goes for it is to completely abuse the fact that Huskar's armor is awful, and that's how he actually gets a level 2 to level 3 first blood on the Huskar. And there are two parts to this video. The first part is going to be item-based and skill-based, where with a good block, with these items that he goes for, and with the tricks that we're going to talk about, you can probably kill Huskar. And the second part is going to be how to, with that kill, snowball or at least hold your advantage. Because as Huskar gets level 4, level 5, level 6, it doesn't really matter that you kill him early. Unless if you actually decide to stay in the lane, you will take a ton of damage regardless. So, as I said, the blocking. Look at this block. Huskar actually missed his block. So CCNC calibrated and stopped the block in the perfect spot, which is right at the beginning of the stairs. But if you don't start the game like this, it's quite unlikely that you're going to be able to kill Huskar. So if you don't play a lot of mid, you're probably going to struggle with this. I'm actually considering making a video about blocking, because it's one thing that I struggled a lot when I started playing mid. But it's crucial to actually get what he gets done here. So you can see he starts the lane with Light of Fist already. You don't want to get Flame Guard here. Well, why don't you want to get Flame Guard? Isn't that the fastest way for you to get the range creep and then to ignore the Huskar because he does a lot of damage? Technically, yes, but as we said, look at the base damage from CCNC. It's 60 with a Blightstone, right? What about the Huskar? It's 51, and he's a ranged hero with not the greatest animation, so it's not hard for CCNC to get denies or creeps. And at the same time, Huskar level 1 Burning Spears is actually pretty bad, especially when you get a good block and you're not tanking a lot of damage. You can see that he stays here. One of the big mistakes players do when they're playing with Huskar, the first one is the one I talked about, where they are just really afraid and they just stay like this all the time, which is not what you should be doing, especially level 1. The Burning Spears harass is really mediocre. But he waits until a creep is actually about to be denied or to be dead. So you can see, Huskar starts attacking the range creep, and then what CCNC does is he trades. And look at the difference. I'm going to go back just so you can, look at the HP that Huskar has and CCNC's HP, alright? So Huskar is going to attack the range creep once here. Alright, let's watch this. 1, 2... Yes, the Huskar did take one tower hit, which was probably his mistake, but it also goes back to the fact that this is good blocking, right? There's no chance in the world that Huskar would take that tower hit if the creep wave was in the middle. So that's also CCNC's own ability impacting the laning stage really early. So he can easily get his range creep, he can easily get the deny, and now it's going to be level 2 really early, and he once again uses the Light of Fist to harass Huskar. So right from the get-go, this laning stage doesn't look scary at all, right? Look what's going on here. This is already a ton of advantage, but you cannot just dive the Huskar at this stage. This skill here requires a lot of things. First of all, he actually fares more regen and he fares a mango. Then one thing that he does all the time, and I'm going to rewind here, is he constantly draws aggro to the range creep. And this is the way that he actually kills Huskar later on, but is also, how can I say it? It really allows Ember to shine in this laning stage, because as we said, the only thing Huskar does relatively well is harassing, and at this stage he doesn't even do that really well because he's level 1. So as long as CCNC is away from the Huskar, he's going to be able to either get the deny or the harass. So with the Sleight of Fist chains here, the Huskar is really low HP. He's not going to fight for the deny, and if he fights, he probably dies. So CCNC gets that. He prevents Huskar from getting the range creep, and he even forces a salve, which is something that Huskars rarely even have to buy. So it just showcases how this Blightstone build early on. And I'm going to say, probably an oversight from the Huskar. I'm not sure if he ever played that matchup. Not sure if he ever played that matchup versus CCNC. But he didn't start with the Ring of Protection. You can say that he buys one now, but I'm pretty sure those trades would look a little differently if he starts with this instead of maybe like a gauntlet of strength. So if you're playing Huskar versus this matchup and you see someone doing what I'm teaching, probably a good idea is to just leave the base with ROP, and if you don't, still getting it, because it's all about physical damage in this approach that CCNC is going for. So you can see that once again, the creep wave is in a really good position right now. He can get the CS and get out. There's not that much harass coming from Huskar until he's level 3. And we know, CCNC knows, that he's going to get level 3 before the Huskar, because he denied the first range creep. He got this one. Huskar never denied the range creep. So it's clear that the advantage is there. And what CCNC is doing is pretty much just waiting for his level 3 while trying to take as little harass as possible. So now, watch how he actually gets first blood. So, this is not first blood just yet. He, once again, just uses the Sleight of Fist and the chains, and he harasses the Huskar a little bit. He's only level 2, so this is not going to hurt at all. Not in comparison to how much damage CCNC is able to do. And now is really how he gets this kill. First of all, he had a Mango. Without the Mango, he wouldn't be able to spam the spells as much as he did. And he also has this salve. Now, watch what he does here. Alright? He draws aggro to his range creep. And he draws aggro to his range creep, and he knows there's more melee creeps on this side. Meaning, this creep is going to die faster than his own. And what he does? Well, he's going to harass the Huskar. And he could maybe go for that range creep, but that would mean that the Huskar is really close to his tower. Look what he does. A scared player, what would he do is, alright, Huskar's going to deny my range creep, so I'm going to make sure to deny this one because I'm afraid and I don't want Huskar getting levels. Well, instead what he does is, he could be A-clicking this right now, but he intentionally brings the Huskar in with a lot of creeps on top of him, and this bad boy has no armor. He has -1 armor right now because of the Blightstone. So, he just baits him in. And, yeah, I mean, Huskar attacks really fast, has a Fairy Fire, but not even close to being enough to killing the Ember. And that's how he gets first blood. So, let's just recap what he did. First of all, perfect blocking so that he can get level 2 and deny range creep and get range creep without taking too much harass from the Huskar. We also saw how he positioned away from the creep wave when he had no business being there because nothing was about to die. We also saw how he traded, right? You should not be afraid of a level 1 Huskar ever. I don't think there is one hero that is weaker, that is a mid hero and is weaker than Huskar. So with that Blightstone, we saw how well he traded. After that, we saw how he would draw aggro, harass with the Searing Chains that he got from his fast level 2 that the Huskar did not have. So, blocking plus making sure you deny the first range creep really changes the dynamics of this laning stage a lot. Followed by, he starts with 3 tangos, then he had a self plus a mango, so that he could draw that aggro, bait the Huskar in. As a Huskar players are never really afraid, and sometimes they should be, and CCNC just abused that, that feeling of, I'm a Huskar, I can do whatever I want. And that's how he gets first blood. But this matchup gets pretty hard once Huskar gets level 4, level 5. And this leads us to the second part of this video, which is coordinating support rotations. Because really unlikely that CCNC is going to be able to kill this bad boy once he gets 4, gets 5. Maybe a level 6 with a triple remnant, there is a chance. But before that, it's unlikely, and you do want to kill the Huskar, because Huskar is a hero that, even if he has kind of like a bad laning stage, he can double stack Ancients for himself and farm it in 30 seconds. Suddenly, he just rushes an armlet, rushes at 12 minutes, and he's still going to be a force to be reckoned with. So he's just one of those here. Okay, let me just speed this up. He's just one of those heroes that can come back from a game really, really well. And getting at least 1 to 2 kills early really changes how he's going to function throughout the game. He's a really timing-based hero, and his timing is the laning stage. So shutting him down is always appreciated if you're on the enemy team. Alright, so let's see what happens here. This is clearly either CCNC asking for the Earth Spirit to rotate, or Earth Spirit being a good player, and he's rank 100 something, so I'm pretty sure he understands how important it is to actually address what's going on. He is smoked behind the Ember, and you can see the CCNC just fires his bottle. Now he's gonna have some extra HP and mana to work with. He knows he's also ahead in experience, so he's not really that afraid of the Huskar. He waits until he's quite separated from the other creeps. The creep wave is already about to die. And where's the Searing Chains? Yeah, there you go. Searing Chains will set up the roll, which sets up the kick. And this Huskar plays really, really well. He buys another Fairy Fire. He buys another Salve. He learns the Inner Fire level 4, which is usually not what you want if you want to play as greedy as possible. So he understands the scenario he's in. He died once to this Ember, and he's against Nurse Spirit lane. So this could be like really dangerous. Huskar even gets unlucky because he doesn't kill the Huskar, even though he used like 100 and 200 gold of consumable items on the Salve and the Fairy Fire. And still, he's standing still and strong, and now it kind of looks like, oh, alright, looks like Ember not really that good versus Huskar. And I mean, he's not amazing versus Huskar, and you have to play this relatively well to make sure you're gonna do things right. But here's the thing. Now there is no Fairy Fire. All right. See how much damage he did on the Huskar, and he forces the Inner Fire again. Well, basically everything that Radiant did, part CCNC, part Your Spirit is, this Huskar isn't as strong as he would usually be at level 5, level 6, because he learned that Inner Fire. He now has to play really afraid, instead of playing as that Huskar that just stands his ground and right-clicks everyone, kills, gets a triple kill when someone tries to get a rotation going in his lane. And these are all little building blocks of a foundation that allows you to handle Huskar in the mid-game. Now you can see finally a rotation from Bane gets this kill. And, I mean, this is pretty much what I want to talk about, I think. After this, he's level 6, rotations start happening. But just as a spoiler, he ends up this game 22-3 as Ember. And a big part of it is, first, he rushes the Spirit Vessel. So that's one thing you really have to do. He actually gets the Blade Mail first, and then he gets a Vessel. Blade Mail is also, like, I'm probably going to make a video about Blade Mail, because there is the Void Spirit one. I was considering making one about Co-op Blade Mail, but in general, this is probably the best item right now in the game. But yeah, he goes Vessel eventually. It's a really good item versus Huskar. It's just that Blade Mail in this game is amazing versus Death Prophet ult. Really good versus the center, because he just bursts you with a lot of damage, and all of his animations are really predictable, so you can pop Blade Mail before, and that means that center either takes as much damage as he's going to do to you, or he's like, alright, I'm going to kill myself if I go on the Ember. But yeah, generally, just recapping what we were talking about, really good blocking, the Blightstone build with the 3 branches, Mango, more regen, focusing, not being afraid of Huskar, trading with him at level 1, and eventually getting a kill level 3, because you're going to have the level advantage if you do all of those things correctly. Followed by support rotations. Because you max Searing Chains, almost anything can be, like you can set up for any support rotations, right? If they're smoked, Huskar won't have a reaction, because he's going to be stunned for, if you're level 4. This is 2 seconds of stun with a huge cast range because of Light of Fist. So it's very easy to set up any rotations onto that Huskar so that you can snowball your advantage a little more. I mean, I think overall, this is what I wanted to talk about. Guys, if you're interested in coaching, you can DM me on Twitter to get all of the information you need. If you want to keep this channel growing, you can check our Patreon rewards and see if any of that actually means anything to you. Make sure to leave in the comments everything that you're talking about. I did finally hear the comments. People were complaining about the mic volume. I think I got it fixed now, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. And finally, leave in the comments if you're interested in me streaming, because I'm streaming on Twitch, and I was never big on Twitch, but all of this streaming thing is a learning curve to me, so, you know, I'm not really good at it. But I'm starting to get the hang of it, and if you guys are interested in seeing me playing, I'm mostly playing mid, leave it in the comments, because, you know, I might actually stream on both and see what happens. Thanks a lot for being here, guys, and I guess that's it. Bye.